Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse live post-game show after Game 23 at Madison Square Garden that was held, the matinee game. It was a matinee game. I'm going live because, I don't know, I just didn't feel like, I wanted to have a conversation with you guys. But first, I'm just going to give you my breakdown, my recap, point out some things. And the whole tone of this live is basically going to focus on what needs to be done from this moment on. I think we have enough information. There's enough information for the powers that be to make decisions that will change the direction that this team is going in, which is, at the moment, it appears to be just waiting around for the next star to be available. We heard Ian Begley say that. We've heard other, NBA sources echo the same sentiment. And this team, and still, because I still don't know the exact details of what Danny Ainge wanted for Donovan Mitchell. So I still can't say that it was a mistake to pass up on Donovan Mitchell because I don't know what he wanted. No one really knows, except for Leon. But it is obvious that if that was your strategy, star hunting, star chasing, then you fucked up, Leon. You fucked up. And right now, the Knicks were just lost to, let's get to this. Just lost to, here, actually I had this all set up. Here we go, 121-100. It was even worse. It was about a 30-point. We were down 30 points in that second half. Once up 15 points in the first half. That's a 40. In fact, even their lead went up to 32 points, I think. That's a 47-point swing in 2.5 quarters. Isn't Tom Thibodeau a defensive genius? I mean, I say that facetiously, of course. We know that he has been. What's happening now? All right, let me take a moment to shout out the chat, and then I'll jump into it. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me today. It's a sad day. It's a sad day because I'm worried that the changes that need to be done won't be made. But it doesn't. We still got to point them out. We still have to be the voice for the fans here, and. I mean, I'm feeling all kinds of things. I was really, really pissed off and angry, but at the same time, not surprised. So almost numbed. Like I'm fluctuating from so many different. I have a lot of feelings. Yeah, and it's annoying and painful because I mean, we don't know. We all know here the Knicks-Verse. The majority of us. We saw the writing on the wall. We knew this day was going to come. We knew it. We knew last year when they did not fire Thibs and they did not trade Randall and start over and try to acquire talent through the draft and maybe do some shrewd trades and acquire enough pieces so that you can make a Donovan Mitchell type move. Donovan Mitchell didn't care. He wanted to come here regardless. He didn't need another star to already be here to come here. So he actually was the perfect candidate for this team. Now, did anyone foresee him having a career year this year? No, but that's what happens to young, really great young players as they move into their prime. That's what their prime is about. They get better and better and better. But still, if you cannot trade one of your best players for the other best player, the other star player, like Randall would have been the, quote, perfect piece to move for Donovan Mitchell with other elements attached to him. And then we start fresh. But no. And the main flaw that I see, is Leon Rose made a decision to ride or die with Tom Thibodeau, and he built a team for Tom Thibodeau. And here's the thing. If he didn't build this team for Tom Thibodeau, then what the hell was he doing? So either way, both of these men are responsible for the situation that the team is in right now. Yes. Are the players the ones responsible for going out on the court and delivering? Of course, we all know that. We all know that. But we also know coaching matters. Chemistry matters. Roster construction matters. Rotations matter. Defensive schemes matter. Offensive schemes matter. The vibe matters. And the vibe has been fucked up on this team for a long time. For a long time. And I don't mean like, the 20-something years. I'm just talking about the recent future. Not even going to go back into the past. Into that deep past. But the recent future, ever since that, and what caused that was us fed up with someone not giving their effort on the court. All right, we're going to break this game down. Shout out UBG. Good to see you. I haven't been able to look at any of the chats and stuff yet. We'll get to that afterwards. Just got to unload the the recap here. Hey, Foxy, what's up? Good to see you, brother. Knicks 100 AGM. Good to see you. Felicia Lee. See who else is here. We got Chris Dada. All right, we got a nice turnout. We got 90 already in the chat. If you guys, if you're new, just drop a hashtag new in there and let me know where you're from. That'd be great. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please hit the thumbs up for me. I really would appreciate that. And, like I always say, definitely drop your comments. Let's say you had a great comment in the chat here and I missed it. Just put it in the comments section later on once the replay is happening. Let's see. Okay, where are we now? We got Jay England in here. Just to put a little perspective on this. The Dallas Mavericks had played 8 games before they came to Madison Square Garden today. They had lost 6 of them. Lost 6. Shockingly, one of the wins that they had was against Golden State Warriors. And it was close. But their most recent game was against the Detroit Pistons, who we wiped the floor with. The Detroit Pistons without Cade Cunningham. That's right. And the Dallas Mavericks lost to those Pistons. So we should have beaten this team. We should have beaten this team. We should have wiped the floor with this team on our home court. We should have given all those kids who got to go see, some of them probably got to see their first game ever. Their first NBA basketball game ever. And they saw this today. If any players are watching this, you need to think back when you were a kid and you went to your first NBA game. And how demoralizing and really how rough this experience would be for them. I know it's rough for you guys. I'm sure you guys feel shame right now. I'm sure you feel. Knowing the players on this team, after watching them and reading about them and observing them, and some of them for years, even when they were in high school. I know you're taking this hard. You're taking this loss very hard. You're gonna try to do the mental gymnastics of say, well, okay, we got a game tomorrow. We're gonna pull it together, blah, 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 and try to psych yourself up into it. But, inside, deep inside, this game hurts you as much as it hurts us fans. And in fact, it might even hurt some of you even more than it hurts us. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. We got Juan Ventura. Good to see you. KD, what's up, brother? All right, we're going to move on. Here we go. So I tweeted this out close to the end of the game. This could be the penultimate game of the Thibs-Leon era. If Knicks end this weekend 0-2 on Monday, Dolan needs to clean house for reals. I'm going to amend this because of the way that they lost. Because at the time when I tweeted this out, they were still kind of hanging around. I think they'd given up the lead. I think they were down 8 or something. But this team is an odd team. At any moment they could turn it around, especially with the Jalen Brunson on the court. That's one of the wonderful added benefits of having Brunson this season. that he can get you that bucket that you desperately need to stop the bleeding. But I'm amending this. You don't need to wait till Monday, Dolan. I mean, you can decide now, and you probably have already decided. But regardless of what happens tomorrow, outside of an incredible team effort where they play beautiful basketball and just slam the doors shut on the Cavs and embarrass Cleveland tomorrow, outside of that, even that may not save you. Because this was the game you needed to do. Because if you're going to play like that tomorrow, then you should have won today, and then you'd be 2-0 for the weekend. That's what good teams do. Now, it's debatable whether this is. I mean, obviously right now this is not a good team. You know, they're 10-13. They were a 500 team for a while, and 500 to me for this kind of a team was success. You know, if the team, even if still right now, if the team finishes 41-41, I will consider that a successful season. Now, it's not exciting, you know, but it would be successful. But now we're 10-13. And Donovan Mitchell, who you passed up on. Now, again, I'm not going to criticize the decision because I don't know what the actual deal was. And knowing the little bit that we do know, I would have passed up on the deal as well. And I've said that as much. And even still, and I know I've had this argument, JD and I get into this about this, that if Donovan Mitchell were on this team right now, what would the record of this team be? I personally don't think it would be much different. Honestly, if Randall's still on this team, and if we're still getting inconsistency from guys like Cam, or we don't even know who'd be still on the team either. But Donovan Mitchell, what would he add for this team? Maybe 3 wins, so maybe we'd be 13-10, which is good, or maybe 12-11. Maybe we're 12-11, but we're not going to be whatever the Cavs are, 15-7 or whatever they are. No, because there's other issues. So we have the roster construction, but then there's the way that they're told to play on the court. And that's a Tom Thibodeau issue. This is, and that brings me back to the whole thing where, Leon, if you constructed this team for Tom Thibodeau, it was a huge mistake. It meant you constructed a team for a coach that the game has passed by. So, major blunder there. Let's see here. I want to remind all of Knicks Nation, Thibs played Randall the entire first quarter and third quarter, by the way. He finished the half with 21 points, has scored just 3 since. Knicks down 30 now. Min's distribution matters. This is not a Julius diss. In fact, let's get to the big stats here. So this is the whole game stats for the Knicks. They barely cracked the century mark, which is wild considering how well they came out and started shooting. And the Knicks committed 19 turnovers. 19. And the previous game, I think we had committed only 8 at the most or something. The inconsistency of this team is just frustrating. It's the consistent inconsistency of guys like Mitch Robinson. He has one of his best games that he's had, and against these guys, he gives you 2 points, 6 boards. But what happened to the Mitch from the previous game? Now this is where it's on the players too. Cam, I get it. Your minutes are inconsistent. Maybe you're better as a starter. You can get into more rhythm of the game. Whatever it is, but whatever. This is the situation you're in. Maximize it. You looked lost out there. Airballing even. Now one shot that was tipped, that was blocked. That 3-point shot in that first, I believe it was in the first quarter. The first half, second quarter. It was blocked, but So bro, you're 6'8"? And Dinwiddie blocked you on the 3-point line? Come on. Obi, 1 of 5. 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. Derrick Rose gets 13 minutes. Missed both his 3-pointers. 2 of 6. I love Derrick Rose, but we all know that the time is coming soon, where he's probably going to end up on another team, and hopefully it'll be a team where he has a chance to at least compete for a ring. He deserves that for sure, because he can give you quality minutes. He can give you 10 to 15 quality minutes off the bench in the right system, the right structure. Isaiah Hartenstein, turnstile. I don't know how often I'm like watching and I'm like, whoa, where was our guy to get that rebound? Long rebounds, even mid, just kind of rebounds like just 7 feet out. It's like Hartenstein is like, he's trying. There was one play, I rewatched it, and Hartenstein is literally backing up. The shot goes up in the air, and he's backing up. He's he's boxing out an invisible Mav. There's no one behind him. And he's literally taken 2-3 steps away from the hoop on the left side, and the ball goes that way. Emmanuel quickly actually had a nice game, but a lot of these stats were after the game was out of hand. Randall, look at Randall. You start out 21 points in the first half, 24 points here. But I want you guys to look at something that's really going, I mean, if you haven't seen it already on this, the most shocking stat here. Considering he hit 2 of 3 from the 3-point line at 5 of 11 overall. But he only took 11 shots in 27 minutes. Jalen Brunson. Against his team, his former team. This was the big rematch or whatever. Not revenge game. I hate all that stuff. But anyway, the first time he's facing his team at MSG, his former team at MSG, he chose to come here, the Knicks. It wasn't traded away. He chose to come here. He's a minus 26 on the floor. No other Knick is even within 10. Oh, wait, they are 10. Obi Toppin was a minus 16 and Reddish was a minus 16. But a minus 26 for Jalen Brunson. And you know why? Because the Mavs know his weaknesses. They cooked him. He struggles guarding the 3-point line, as the entire team does in general, except for quickly. Grimes, 9 points. Grimes, 1 of 3 from the 3-point line. Grimes several times passed up on 3-point attempts that he should have taken, even if they're slightly contested. I'd rather you, bro, take a slightly contested 3 than drive into traffic and nothing happens. Also, that's your job. We need 3. Your job is to create 3-point to take good 3-point looks and make them. It basically was Randall in the beginning. You know, he was hitting threes, you know, like he cooled off. Randall cooled off, and he cooled off, I think, because he played too many damn minutes in that first quarter. Forget that. We're going to move on here now. So this is the Mavericks box score. 121 points. 121 points. They only committed 11 turnovers. Really, the turnovers were a huge part of this game, but they attempted 61 3-pointers. I think what happened was they got into the locker room at halftime, and Jason Kidd turned around and looked at them all and said, do you guys not remember who we're playing against? We're playing against the worst perimeter defensive team in the NBA that allows the most 3-point looks, most open 3-point looks. Start jacking them up. I don't care if you miss. And guess what? They started making them. They were cold in that first quarter, started heating up a little bit in that second quarter. They were down by 7 at halftime, and then they come out, start firing. They end up almost connecting on 40% of their 3-point attempts. Now, when you only hit 10 of 31, look, they put up 30 more attempts than we did. 30 more attempts and hit 14 more of them. So of the additional 30 more attempts that they took, they hit almost 50% of those. That's the blowout. And we had no response. No response. The rotation in the third quarter, it was almost like Thibs was oblivious to what was happening in front of him. Why not immediately shift and put your biggest all-around lineup out on the floor without a center, because you don't need a center against the Dallas Mavericks. And I mean, let's have Cam out. Let's have Cam out there. Let's have Grimes out there. Let's have RJ out there, and Randall, and get IQ out there. Get your best defensive five and the most disruptive five that you can put out there to try and rattle these three-point shooters. Get them to start second guessing again, and then create some havoc. No, the same old. You brought Rose in. He did bring IQ in, and I think at one point he went with IQ, Rose, Brunson, Randall, and I think even Obi. So that was his small ball lineup. That was his defensive response. Okay. AL said. El Cid asks, George, help me understand why I keep routinely cheering on this shitty team. I can't take this losing anymore. I can't take this losing anymore. I think he said, hey, we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. We cheer because they're our team. You know, in my opinion, you're a fan in good times and bad. How much you engage with the team, of course, is all relative to how you feel about them at that time. But in general, I'm not a fair weather fan. You know, I never have been, obviously. I've been cheering for this team since I was 6 years old. And they haven't really given me that much to cheer about recently. And same thing goes for all my teams. The Mets suffered for years through all of that. But that's just the way it is. And it's going to be difficult. I can already tell. I'm telling you guys right now. I could tell the morale in general amongst the fan base has been dwindling, has been low. We're kind of like hanging out, looking for something because hope is at a low, is at a low on this team. Also, and I'm going to get to this, we didn't have an injection of new talent, young talent, other than Brunson on this team. And I mean, I guess Hartenstein as well. But, we didn't pick up 2 or 3 guys from the draft and then saw them kind of develop in Summer League and see what they're going to give us or anything. No, and I'm going to get to all of that because that's on Leon. I'm going to give a very harsh and realistic critique on all the aspects of this team and why we are where we're at. All that being said, this team is better than this. This is bad. They're better than this. Look at the effort we gave against the Bucks. This team is better than this. It shouldn't be like this. I'm going to show you some really crazy shit. Okay, so first half, Knicks shoot 55%, almost 60 points. Committed only 8 turnovers in that first half, which is still high-ish. And in general, the Knicks have been good this season at minimizing their turnovers. Is one of the things that's actually kept them, is one of the reasons that we've even won 10 games, is by minimizing those turnovers. And that, shout out to Brunson, because he makes a big difference there. But look at this. Look at the rebounding here. 23 rebounds here. Only 2 offensive rebounds in this game. Now we made up a lot of our shots. So it's hard to get offensive rebounds when you're hitting 55%. But the 3-point shooting, 5 of 14, only putting up 14 attempts in that first half was a mistake. We have to be putting up at least 18 to 20 3-point attempts each half. Now, let me see, didn't Grimes? Yeah, Grimes hit 1. Brunson hit 1. Look at Randall was 2 of 5. Quickly hit 1 of 2. So our guys who can hit 3-point shots, we're connecting them. 36%, 35.7% isn't that exciting a number, but I think one of them counts RJ's heave that he made a big heave at one point. I think that's what that one counts. Yeah, at the end. Man, you guys can tell I'm frustrated as hell on this. Let's see here. We got... let's keep going. Now look at the Mavs first half. Oh, wait. So Randall plays 18 minutes in that. So he played 12 minutes, all 12 of the first quarter minutes, and then played an additional 17 in the second quarter. Brunson, let me see. Quentin Grimes also played 12 minutes in that first quarter. Let's see, right? RJ, somehow, he only played 14 minutes in that first half, and he was having a good game. I thought he was hurting them. Now look at Luka. Look at Luka's first half. He was 3 of 11, shot 27.3%, 20% from the three-point line, 1 of 5. The whole team was not connecting from the three-point line. They were 9 of 30. 9 of 30. So that means they went 15 of 31, like I said, in the second half. Actually, there it is. Beautiful. And look, overall, they were shooting 33.3% in general. 16 of 48. The rebounding, they had 8 offensive rebounds. We had 14, 22 boards in that first half. What did we have? 23. So the rebounding was almost even. They had 10 assists. We had 9, 6, 2. Okay. Now we're going to get to the ugly part. Here we go. Third quarter. Dallas, this is the third quarter. In the third quarter, Dallas Mavericks scored 41 points. 41 points on 64% shooting, 9 of 17 from the three-point line. Almost 53% from the three-point line they shot. They put up more attempts in the third quarter than we put up in the entire first half. And they connected on 9 of them. Man, this is brutal. And they only committed 2 turnovers in that third quarter. When a team only commits 2 turnovers in that third quarter, to me, that says that the other team defending wasn't doing their job. They weren't disruptive enough. They weren't causing enough mayhem for the offense for the other team. And this is the third quarter of doom once again for the Knicks. Something that happened a lot last season. It's happened this season as well, just less so, but it's been just as alarming. We've given up big leads all year. All year we've built leads and given them up. Now, a 15-point lead is a monstrous lead in the NBA, especially in today's NBA. But we've given up 21-point leads, 25-point leads. So you knew once that 15-point lead turned into just a 7-point lead going into the half that the Knicks were going to be in trouble. I was not at all feeling that confident about this team at the time. I still thought we were going to win it. I still felt that we should win it. But it wasn't like, wow, they're really showing us something and they're really taking care of business. Because when you cough up those leads, especially in the first half, it's very alarming. It's a sign of bad things. It's a harbinger of doom, as Clyde loves to say. And I love to say. Knicks shot 3 of 10 in that third quarter. And they committed 6 turnovers in that third quarter. Only got 8 rebounds. Ooh, this is nasty. A minus 26. Randall was a minus 26 because he played the entire third quarter. And so did Quentin Grimes again. So Thibs has decided that when Randall's out on the court, I'm going to play Grimes together. They're going to pair them together. They're going to play them the entire time. Oh, so it must have been Grimes. It must have been, it was Brunson, IQ, Grimes with OB and Randall. That was that small ball unit for, I can't remember how many minutes. But that was his response to this debacle here. This total collapse on this team. Man. The team stats. Here we go. Knicks, I mean, we did get to the line. Can you imagine if we hadn't gotten 28 trips to the line? How much of a bigger thrashing this would have been. Total turnovers, Knicks committed 20. Dallas only committed 11. Points off turnovers, 19 to 12. Points in the paint, we did win that. But we lost, like I said, the 3-point battle. Look at that. They scored an additional 42 points. An additional 42 points from the three-point line than we did. Wow. There's the game right there. And it wasn't brain surgery. It wasn't like they came up with some tremendous skill. It was just they know what kind of team we are. And they said the only way we're going to, get back in this game and win this game is if we start putting up, good quality three-point shots. And when you have a guy like Luka out there, you can do this. It's possible to do this. Man. God, I'm so fucking disgusted by this, man. All right, let's get back to this. Tim Bontemps tweeted this out. The Knicks lose 121-100 to the Mavericks, getting outscored 69-41 in the second half to lose for the sixth time in 8 games and to fall to just 4-7 at Madison Square Garden this season. Things won't get easier tomorrow when Donovan Mitchell makes his debut here as a Cav. That is so true. So true. Hey, shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining me here. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, I would appreciate that tremendously. And let's see here. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And check out the Knicks-Verse merch store. Some awesome stuff there. Let's see. Foxy says we get beat on second chance points too. Lack of boxing out and effort. Yeah. And then I talked about that one Hartenstein thing where he's literally trying to box out a phantom behind him. There was no one behind him. Let's see here. Joseph A. asks, would you rather have RJ or Porzingis? This is not an RJ, this game at all. And the the Porzingis thing, that was a whole odd situation. We can address it another time. But it's an example of how when a franchise makes pivots, they better be right about them. They better be right. Fred Katz tweeted this out. You just aren't going to survive in this league giving up an endless amount of threes. The Knicks give up the most three-point attempts and the second most makes in the NBA. They give up the third most wide-open threes. Oh, so the third most. Tonight, the Mavs are 24 for 60. This is right before the end of the game. Tommy Beer tweeted this out. The Knicks have played 23 games this season. They've allowed more than 101 points in every single game. Every game. First time that's ever happened in Knicks franchise history. Now, we live in a different era now because the game scores are going to be higher in general with the three-point line and how prominent it's become. So that also factors in, but it is amazing that we have not held one single team under 100 points. When tonight, we barely broke the century mark. In fact, we scored less than 101 points tonight. So that's a very, very interesting... It speaks to the lack of adjustment to the current environment in the NBA. That's what that speaks to me. Now we're going to get to... So, this is on Thibs. And definitely partially roster construction. But this is on Thibs. Thibs has got to fix this. The players have to fix this. The team has to get this together. They have to compete and challenge three-point shooters like they did against Milwaukee. Milwaukee is an excellent three-point shooting team. I'm not sure the exact stats, but I think they're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the NBA. And we did an excellent job against them. We competed, we harassed them, closed out fast, even though they may have had enough time to get off a clean look. But when you have a guy who's coming at you, at double speed, it's disruptive because it puts that little doubt. Am I going to get blocked? Wait, how close are they? We were doing that in that game. All gone in this game. In the second half, especially. So that's on Thibs. Rotations is on Thibs. Defensive scheme is on Thibs. Offensive scheme is on Thibs. Players' confidence is on Thibs, or lack thereof. Picking running the right type of offense for the type of players you have is on Thibs. Turning Obi Toppin, I love that he's encouraging him to shoot the three, and that's great. You have to in today's NBA, but why snip his balls? Why snip his balls? Something's happened to Obi. He was tremendous in the opening of the season. He was tremendous at the close of last year. That guy's gone now. He doesn't even finish with the same verve that he used to. Something is off with him. Same thing for Cam. No, they never run a play for Cam. Ever. That's on Thibs. And I mean, you guys all know I've been asking for him to be shown the door. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for bringing back a winning environment to the Knicks, especially obviously that first season. Thank you for getting us into the playoffs for the first time in a long time. That's all wonderful. Thank you. Now it's time to move on. This happens. Very few coaches last for years in any of professional sports. In the NBA, there are a few. There's your Spoelstras, Popovich, but those guys, they got rings. You don't keep guys around who don't have rings. Look at even Rick Carlisle. He has a ring and he gets shown the door. Now, this. The New York Knicks decided to trade out of the draft, of this year's draft, to create cap space and to acquire additional first-round picks. Why? We all know, because of the star, making a star trade. Well, the star trade didn't happen, and now we have these protected first-round picks that don't have as much value as we wish they would. It's looking like the new draft, this 2023 draft, which originally the advanced word was that it was much deeper than the previous draft. Now it's looking like it may not be as deep as we had hoped. At the top, there's some franchise-changing players. It may at the top, maybe one of the best tops that there has ever been. Actually, since like the LeBron, what was that, 03? I think that was that draft. So we traded out. So you have a team that doesn't have stars on it, doesn't have any young players on it that are going to turn into superstars. They have young players that could become a star. At the time, RJ was looking like he could have a breakout year this year. His year 4 could be, get to that all-star adjacent type situation. That's what we had hoped for. All the indicators were there. Hasn't turned out. Got off to a super cold start again. But even he has shown signs of life. And I tweeted out his recent stats recently. You should check that tweet out. But he's not a Ja Morant. He's not a Zion. He's not a guy who carries your team for months on end. He may carry your team for a couple of weeks. We've seen him do it. But he's not that guy. He's just not. And Randall, he showed us that he could be, like a really solid number 3 on a maybe contending team. That's what he showed us in his All NBA season. But we know, we look at his whole body of work. He's not that. He is what he is. And we should have moved on from him. Because his style of play is just not, it's not conducive for long-term winning here. And he's too erratic, he's too moody. And who knows what happens in that locker room with his personality and everything. So how do you go from here, this 37-win team, to up here, contending for a playoff spot and maybe even contending in general? How do you go from there? So you have to acquire talent. You have to acquire outstanding talent. You have to acquire top 25 in the NBA talent. Now, we had a chance with Donovan Mitchell, and once again, I'll say I'm not going to bust their balls on that. But the problem is that when you set yourself up for that's the only strategy you have, because Randall's not going to revert back to all-NBA guy. Is Brunson an all-star type guy? Yeah, he is. But can he carry your team? I don't think so. He's a very good player, but defensively, he's too much of a liability to be able to carry your team because he's not giving you 38, 35 a night to make up for his defensive liability. He gives you 25, he gives you 28, gives you 24. He had 3 30-point games in a row. That was great. But look what Tatum gives you. He gives you 49. Look what Luka gives you on general night, 47, 45. That's what the great players do. Brunson is a very good player. He was a very good signing. But did we need him for this team at this time? That's a big conversation. So how do you get from a 37-win team to a contending team? Through the draft. And this team, Leon decided to trade out of this draft. And then when you look at this is just from last night or 2 nights ago. This is on the ESPN app. This is just the stats. The above part are the top 5 scorers in the NBA. Number 5 on that list, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We could have had him. Number 1 in assists, Tyrese Halliburton. Number 1, could have had him. Darius Garland. Now, did I want to draft him over RJ? I personally didn't, but he's on here because we could have had him. I'm not a draft guru. I don't spend every minute of my day analyzing players. If I had, maybe I would have been like, you know what? Going for a Garland is better for this franchise than going for an RJ. But whatever. But the point is that we could have had Darius Garland. Then you go into 3 points made. Desmond Bane. I desperately wanted Desmond Bane on this team. Boom, there he is. Donovan Mitchell. We could have had him twice. Now, most of those are not on Leon. They're not on Leon, but it's on the franchise. It's to show you how do you end up with the best players in the NBA. These are the best statistical players right now. Right now, top 5 in the NBA. And there's 5 names on here that we could have had on this team. Just through the draft. And we traded out of the 2022 draft. Look at this guy. AJ Griffin can really hoop. His movement shooting, this is NBA University tweeted this out. His movement shooting will be a weapon for a decade. Movement shooting. Not only is his shooting stroke perfect, and he replicates it every time. Apparently, he's also a tough shot maker. Like the way Fournier can make those weird tough shots, drifting from one side to the other, fadeaways and all that. AJ Griffin can also do that. Who wanted AJ Griffin on these Knicks? Who wanted the Knicks to draft him? Right here on the Knicks-Verse. You heard Foxy and I go over these lists inside and out, and we had designated AJ Griffin as one of the players to look out for. Terry Eason, Jalen Williams, all those guys are balling and delivering, all rookie team, first team type level performances this year. But I'm really impressed by his composure and aggressiveness. Putting the ball on the floor, 6-8 on twos through third quarter tonight. I guess this was last night. Advanced and quick decision maker for one of the youngest dudes in the league. I think he was the second youngest who was drafted behind Duren. And you know why they didn't draft him? You know why they traded out of the draft? It wasn't just to acquire cap space for the Brunson signing and to acquire unprotected or protected first-round picks, additional ones. It was because Tom Thibodeau doesn't play rookies. Tom Thibodeau buries rookies. That's what Tom Thibodeau does. So Leon Rose was once again constructing a team for Tom Thibodeau. The sad news here is, like I opened the show with, the time has come to clean house. I hope, Dolan, I hope you've been doing some work on the side. You had somebody looking at alternatives for this front office. It could even be an interim person to get us at least through the rest of the year. And we need a new coach. So we need a new leader in the front office and a new coach. The worst, saddest part about this is one of the best things we have is our drafting department. And we moved away from one of our strengths. And that is the killer. Like the previous season, we didn't go out and acquire a point guard. We waited and waited and waited and then ended up getting stuck with Kemba. And that was a total disaster. I was wondering, what's the logic here? What are you guys thinking? Who's going to be the point guard? You really think Rose is going to be the point guard? I wanted quickly to be made the point guard, starting point guard. They didn't even look at Thibs. We don't know. Thibs didn't even look at him once Kemba was benched. He went to Burks, someone who had never played point guard since he was in college. It's people making decisions based upon what benefits them, not what benefits us, who are the ones who bleed orange and blue. And that has to stop today. Dolan, I hope you're on that phone, making the calls, find the right person, and let's move forward. And you'll see the franchise will, the team, the fans will embrace that. We will embrace it. And let's get whatever we can get for Julius Randle. Julius Randle is a high quality player. Let's use him to acquire some other assets that we can develop with the younger players on this team. That's the way I look at it. That's the latest and not greatest at all. All right, we got almost 200 in the chat. That's awesome. Thank you guys for joining us here on Into the Knicks-Verse. And by say us, I mean all of us, all the regulars here. Stanley Man, good to see you, brother. Let's see. I can't because I'm not using it through that other system. I can't put any of the comments on screen, but I'll read them out. I'm going to take a break for a second. Hold on. Juan Ventura, I wanted AJ Griffin. Leon is a piss poor GM. You know, I don't even know if he's a bad. I wouldn't even. I don't. It's not even that he's a bad GM. He made a decision and he kept sticking to it. The decision to ride or die with Thibs. I guess that makes him a bad decision maker, and ultimately. Let's see here. I missed a bunch of great. I could see in the AJ Griffin is a bad defender. You know, he's not a bad defender. Is he a good defender? I wouldn't even say he's a good defender, but he's not a bad defender. He's kind of an okay defender. His lateral movement isn't all that, but he's big. That's one thing. He's big and he's strong and he's really young. So he could look what remember IQ. Oh, IQ was, we thought he wasn't that good a defender when he was a rookie. Look what he's become now. Guys can learn. You can learn how to be a good defender. Definitely. Looking back to see if I missed anything else. Yeah, RJ is not that guy. No. And it was always debatable whether he was going to be that guy. But I really thought that this was the season that he showed flashes. He showed the ability. Well, also, actually, got to give him credit though. He's coming out of the funk. Let's see how he progresses as he moves on. Can he become? All he needs to do, ironically, with him, all he needs to do is take 2 less of those bizarro attempts at the rim, where he just kind of throws the ball up, expecting to get a foul or whatever, because he just made the mistake of not finding his teammates out on the wings, and he decided to force the shot. If he cut down 2 forced shots and made either just 1 or 2 of the bunnies that he gets, it would change so much on this team. And he does seem like he's getting there. Even tonight, he actually was having a somewhat decent game, but that third quarter, everything collapsed. They went away from what was working. They stopped moving the ball. It was dribble, 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 and they looked like they had no energy on the defensive end. It almost looked like there was glue on the bottom of their sneakers. They're struggling to move. It's just mind-boggling, man. Mind-boggling. Especially considering the tremendous effort that they put out in Milwaukee. Yeah, Brunson can't carry a team in the long run. He can guide a team, he can lead a team, but you need multiple guys to be a sustained winning franchise. You need multiple guys who can carry your team when other guys don't have it that night. Now, we do have guys like that. They just don't do it consistently. They can't even string. Look at Mitch. He couldn't string 2 outstanding efforts together. Gave us 1, and then today. Against the Dallas Mavericks? I don't understand how you can compete in battle against Giannis and Brook Lopez and the Milwaukee Bucks like you did, and then tonight against the Mavericks you just give this kind of effort. Don't understand how that can work. Let's see here. Who else is in the chat? Hey, Foxy's still here. Good to see you, bro. Nick Yak. What has quickly become? 29 minutes and 0 assists, not even 1 by accident. Yeah, it wasn't that kind of game, but you're right. I mean, he's definitely been better at finding his teammates. Tonight wasn't that. Let's see what else we got. The Knicks quit tonight. Thibs will be fired. Only a couple games from 5th worst record. The most successful people in the world will echo a very similar sentiment to what I'm about to say to you. It's the key to success in life is how you respond to failure, and whether you have the fortitude to pivot. Almost even any app that is being created, they beta test the hell out of it and everything. And sometimes you create an app and you realize, oh, the best use for this app is this one other aspect of it, and then boom, the company will pivot. Now, in a digital space, it's a little easier to pivot, and they'll just build out this whole other aspect, and suddenly you have Uber, and now there's Uber Eats, like right now, Uber Eats is a tremendously successful aspect of that company. It wasn't even a part of it originally. Pivoting is the key to inevitable success if you do it correctly. Right now, this team is 10-13. We're going to be 10-14 48 hours from now. And this team needs to pivot. If we clean house, I would keep Walt Perrin on, just have him and his team, analyzing the hell out of these college players and international players. And I'm not calling for a full tank, because I do love the young players on this team. I love the young core. I feel with the right coach that they could flourish. They've shown us flashes of it in the past. IQ is one of the best defensive perimeter defenders right now in the NBA. He is. If his shots can drop consistently, that would be something really special. Obi was showing us that he could be a 20-8 guy on a decent team as a starting power forward. That's disappeared. Cam has shown us tremendous flashes of an exciting slasher wing who can defend, who's a disruptor. Mitch, one of the best, or if not the best offensive rebounder in the NBA. RJ has had prolonged periods of sustained dominance. He's had sometimes he's had like 4 or 5 30-point games over a 10-game stretch at one time. And he's a proven winner in his heart. He has that winner mentality. But he's not a top 25 player. He never will be. But can he be a good complementary type player to other great players? Yes, I do believe that he could be. And the other thing, it's a win-win. Because if they don't develop into being those kind of players, but anyway, they will. Because young players, the more time that they get, and these guys have shown that they have good character, they will improve. And then there's the 2023 NBA lottery. Victor Wembanyama is just transcendent. The dude it's sick. If you watch any of the highlights or any of the games that he's played, it's just insane. Now, of course, that requires luck. But that's just the way the system is built right now. Now, again, there's also Scoot Henderson, he looks like they're comparing him to, they're saying he's like a Derrick Rose / Ja Morant type. And that's not just talk. That's real. He is that kind of guy. So you have transcendent, LeBronish, type impact player, Wembanyama, who's a unicorn, KD. He's like a combination of KD and I don't know what the hell else, but he's incredible. Then you have Scoot Henderson. In my opinion, at this point, why not pivot and go for that? And still let the team keep trying to play their hearts out. Maybe they get things back together. Maybe they're just the defensive commitment is there. They figure out how to guard the 3-point line. And then, hey, if this team can end up being a 500 team with those young guys, then so be it. Then so be it. Because that means those guys will have value to trade for. To trade with, should I say. And you still are going to have some decent draft picks. And if it doesn't work, then this becomes a 32-win team. And you're right there, possibly getting one of those top 3 picks in the draft. Because also the Thompson twin, Usar, I think it's Usar, who's also projected to be quite special. Not as special as Victor and Scoot, but he's also projected to be quite special. So maybe we can get back into the top 3 like we were a few years ago when we got RJ. And this time maybe we'll get luckier. Or just keep adding to our talent pool. Man. All right. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Geraldine. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Silver Surfer. What's up? Let's see if my pet goldfish was on. Ashley Inc. 1 says, if my pet goldfishes was the front office, we would still have 7 protected picks over the next 7 years. So Leon is flexing about 3 protected picks. Senor Beef says Randall has to go before we can really see what happens with him. Natural World Matter says it's December, bro. Yeah, yeah, but we also have to read the writing on the wall. I mean, exactly what's happening now is we had already foreseen all of this based upon the decisions that were made. Now, did I want to be wrong? Of course I wanted to be wrong. I was hopeful. And when I analyzed the team, I mean, as a fan, I want to approach it okay, what's the best case scenario? Best case scenario, this team, if things come together well, and Brunson delivers, and Randall returns to All-NBA Randall, and RJ makes the leap, can this team win 45 games? Yeah, or 47 games? Yeah. Or at minimum, can it be a 500 team, which they were showing that they were for quite a while? But now we're starting to slip, and the schedule is just going to get harder and harder and harder. And then you go and you lose a game like today. A game that was handed to you. Christian Wood didn't even play today. Luka Doncic shot 3 of 11 in the first half. This game was right there for you guys. There's something lacking in this squad. And it's leadership. It's leadership. Which is something that, not talking about the players necessarily. Talking about the coaching staff and the front office. And also, like, Leon Rose never talks to us. He puts out these little statements once a year. That's it. So we don't know. No one can ask him questions. The media can't have any follow-up questions. Alan Hahn had that one interview with him, which was nice. You know, it was nice to hear him say some things, but it's just not enough, man. We don't know where your head's at. We don't know where your head's at. We don't know what your plan is. And the team that's on the court, it doesn't, I mean, other than when Brunson is cooking and leading, it doesn't have a real identity. Like we're not like, oh, we're the best defensive team in the East, or we're gonna try to play that way, like the way the old Knicks used to be. You know, tough. Like, how come we never just put someone on the floor sometimes when these 3-point shooters are like, you know, just lighting it up? Get a little angry with them. I don't mean get dirty, but you know what I mean? Where's the intimidation factor? Now, yeah, I don't know. I think we got to pivot. We got to pivot because this kind of just like floating along, drifting along, waiting for the next disgruntled star to want to come to New York. You had your shot. You guys chose not to do it. It you know, the thing is that with everything there comes risk. Was there risk if we had acquired Donovan Mitchell? Was the risk giving up way too much? Would that have compromised our ability to acquire a second star? Absolutely, there's a risk. But was there a risk in not doing it? And then this happening? Yeah. And here we are. It's happened. All right, we got over 200 in the chat. Awesome. This has been great. Been going on for about an hour now. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Tomorrow we have a very interesting game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They come into town. Let's see. Let's look it up here. Let's preview tomorrow's game a little bit since we're here. Before I lose my voice. Hey, you know, I'm a passionate guy. And I hate to lose. I mean, hate it. Woke up this morning, 6:30 in the morning, to get ready to watch USA play against Netherlands, you know, one of the top 8 teams in the world. And it was close, man. It was close. We had it. It was right there. We gave up that first goal, that second goal right before the end of the first half. Once that happened, it was very demoralizing. But then the team came out in that second half and they showed fight. They showed fire. You know, and we're playing against one of the, you know, behemoths in world soccer. And they showed fire and we scored. We had it down. We were only a goal down from tying it up. And you know how things go. Then you get that extra 30 minutes and then there's penalty kicks and all stuff. You never know. You could steal a game. And they were playing that way. Unfortunately, the players got tired. We don't have that much depth. And we got burned defensively. We got burned defensively on the backside. So that's how I woke up this morning. And then this game started. And we're like, oh, wow, look at Randall. Birthday boy Randall's back. And the team's, you know, shooting well, playing well, looking good. That first quarter and a half, midway through the second quarter. And then built up a 15-point lead. And then by halftime, it was only a 7-point lead. And I started getting a bad feeling. So I went the other way. So, you know, a lot of screaming was done at the TV. So it's a little exhausting sometimes. The Cavaliers come in. They don't play today, right? No. So they play tomorrow against us. They are 15-8. We are now 10-13. What a shame, man. Ugh. Donovan Mitchell's averaging 28.7 points per game on 49.4% field goal shooting. Almost 50% he's shooting. And he's shooting 88.8% from the free throw line. He's doing everything perfectly. He's having probably his best season of his career. And then they have their top rebounder, Jared Allen, 10.8 boards a game. And assists, Darius Garland, 8 points a game. So all of their three top guys are all in the top statistical leaders in the NBA currently. Let's see. They've won 3 out of the last 5 games. But, they lost to Milwaukee, 117-102. They barely beat the Detroit Pistons. Barely beat them, 102-94. They lost to the Raptors, 188. Now, all those 3 games were on the road. And then they came back to Cleveland. They beat the Sixers, 113-85. It was an impressive win. And then they play. I think last night they played against Orlando. They 107-96. But that game got a little closer. It wasn't as definitely. Orlando was toying with the idea of trying to steal that game. It's hard to say anything at this point right now. But if we could lose the Dallas Mavericks, we literally could lose any team. But the Knicks, last 5 games. OKC, 129-119. It was the last game of that 5-game road trip, and which was fantastic. So we came back 3-2 on that road trip. Things were looking good, and then we drop a very close game, an overtime game to Portland at MSG, 132-129 in overtime. And then we also, I believe, were tied, or we're down by 1 against Memphis with about a minute left in the entire game. Ended up losing that, 127-123. Then we went to Detroit, destroyed them, 140-110. Detroit, the team that the Mavs lost to, and that Cleveland could barely beat. So we destroyed them, 140. We lit them up for 140-110, and that was the birthday game for Randall. And then we went to Milwaukee, 109-103, but the game was tied with 47 seconds left. Game was tied 103-103 against the Bucks. Before this game, I was feeling like, you know what, the sky's not falling. This team could really they could start putting some few things together, especially when you looked at RJ's recent stats. And I tweeted this out. I should have had it pulled up here. Let's see, I'll pull it up here. So RJ, in the first 17 games of the season, he was averaging 17.9 points per game on 39% field goal shooting and 25% three-point shooting and 76% free throw shooting. And he had a net rating of a negative 5.8. But in the last 5 games, that's not including today's game, the previous 5 games, he went up from 17.9 points to 21.6 points per game. His field goal shooting went from 39% to almost 46%. The three-point shooting went from 25% to 38%, 38.5%. And the free throw shooting went from 76 to 82.8%. Rebounds were up to 6.2. Even his assists had gone up 3.4. His plus minus went from a minus 4.2 to a plus 3.8. And the best stat is the true shooting. His true shooting percentage combines all field goals and free throws, and it also factors in the higher value of a 3-point shot. His true shooting went from 48.8% up to 57.6%. Now, that's not like he's on fire. It's just efficient. Good, clean efficiency with giving you a robust points per game, almost 22 points per game. And his net rating went from a minus 5.8 to a plus 5.2, so an 11-point swing. In today's game, when you look at his stats, it's kind of in line with that. He didn't have necessarily a terrible statistical game. So, in fact, before I say that, let me 100% confirm that. Because I know his stats were. Yeah, RJ. Yeah, he shot 4 of 9. All right, so a little over 40%. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and he only played 20 minutes. RJ. Wow, only played 20 minutes. What's up, Cheaps Ahoy? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, awful game. I want to hear what you guys think about Quentin Grimes. Do you guys think Quentin Grimes is someone who can develop into, like, what is he? Is he just a high quality rotation player? Or is he could he be a quality starter on a contending team? Could he be that 5th guy in a starting unit on a contending team? Or do you feel he has an even higher ceiling? Could he turn into like that Klay Thompson at light version, like the B plus version of a Klay Thompson, which in my opinion, that would be a clear number 3 on a good team. Or do you think he may never fully live up to his potential? I'm curious what your feelings on him are in terms of that. Man. Yeah, I'm starting to pull here. Is it time to tank? There it is. Please vote. I'd love to hear what the Knicks-Verse community feels. There it is. So we say Grimes is a bench player. UBG says that. High quality rotation player. Okay. Quality starter. Never a option. Okay. Hard to tell because Grimes doesn't get many touches playing with RJ, Brunson, and Randall taking all the shots. Okay, makes it tougher, which is what makes it even more frustrating when he gets a shot, he'll steps out of bounds, or he bypasses a 3 that might be a little bit contested, but we've seen how he can elevate. I think his legs really aren't quite there yet in getting that full elevation that he was getting last season, because his mechanics are just perfect. There might be a little bit of that, though. When he drives to the hoop, man, he did that Euro step that was fantastic right through the hoop. He has some nice finishes. That's something he's shown us, and I like his playmaking skills. They're there. Silver Surfaces Grimes good, just not enough for Knicks starting shooting guard. Okay, I have a follow-up question after this about Cam and Grimes. Whether Cam should be starting and Grimes comes off the bench. Because I feel, and I'll have to do some data mining on it and everything, but it just feels like Cam gives you an overall better product on the court when he is a starter. And it may just be like a rhythm thing because he's more in the flow. He gets longer stretch of minutes when you're a starter. You may end up playing just as many minutes as if you came off the bench, but you get longer stretches of minutes, which allows you to gain your rhythm, get in a rhythm. And maybe Grimes, it doesn't matter to him. He can still be as productive coming off the bench as he would be as a starter. And I'm just putting it out there. I don't actually know exactly yet the answer to that, but it just from the eye test. The eye test is telling me that that this team, and remember I said a while ago that Cam should continue starting. He had already earned it, in my opinion. Grimes got hurt. Grimes started off the season hurt, and then Cam finally got the starting nod over Fournier, and he delivered. He was delivering, and in my opinion, Cam should have held on to that until Grimes took it away from him, if he ever did. But instead, unfortunately, he gets a little bit injured, and then that all went away. Grimes went into the starting rotation, and now Grimes is the starter. But it may not be the best thing for each player and for the franchise on a whole. So we'll see how this ends up going. So right now, so far it's pretty heavily skewed for it is time to tank. I do think a game like today is enough to let us know. We've seen 23. We're past the quarter point on this this schedule, and I don't know. We've seen enough. We've seen enough to know for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Foxy says Grimes' defense is more consistent game to game versus Cam's. Yes, but the offense isn't. That's the thing. Grimes can totally disappear. And same with Cam. But Cam was stringing together several good quality games. And, Cam's defensive highs are right there with Grimes when he is engaged defensively. So it's not an easy decision, but it's something I think should be looked at. Keith Turner says, I just think Grimes didn't take advantage of Fournier being out of his way. True. Let's see. Cheaps Ahoy says, I always think back to that game last year around December when Grimes finally got minutes due to injury and dropped over 30 on great efficiency. Yeah. Where he, it was something like that, where he broke or tied the Knicks rookie record for most threes made in a game. Yeah, I know, he looks so good. But again, injuries come. And injuries come and they screw things up. And I don't understand, why is it that our players can't come back from injuries and pick up where they left off? Like, what goes on? It leads me back to thinking, and this may be a little conspiracy-ish thinking, that it's Thibs. It's the climate that Thibs creates. The panic that these guys must go through when they suffer a little injury. Oh, look, I could be totally out of the rotation now. And look what happened to Cam. He was averaging 20 plus something minutes, and now he's down to like 9 minutes a game. So it's not like there's not actual proof to verify that feeling. Let's see, anything new? So we got some text over here. Ooh, is this real? The Orioles have an offer on the table for Aaron Judge of around 20 years and $900 million, according to Holly Baylor. Whoa. It's a non-basketball news. Thank you, JD. Okay, good. All right, let's see. How do we go? Oh, we got up there. Yeah, I think we're pretty much 60-40. Because I know it's hard. Because tanking doesn't feel good. And when I say tanking, I just put the word in there as I don't mean completely scrap everything and try to go, because unless you're going to be like literally the worst team in the NBA, it doesn't matter. You're still only two other teams have almost an equal chance of getting the top pick as you do. The point is that should we continue to try and build a team that's going to win while sacrificing the ability to add quality talent in the draft? That's more of what I'm thinking. I think we really got to start gearing towards adding some quality players on this team from the draft. and then try to make some good trades. Look, the Cam pickup last year I thought it was excellent. I thought it was an excellent pickup. We traded away a piece that we had, Kevin Knox, who I was a fan of Kevin's, but his time had run out here. Was he misused? Did the franchise fail him in terms of development? I do believe that. But it was a smart way to just find him another home and bring in an interesting player. And Cam looks like he has the ability to be a really excellent wing in the NBA. He's already shown us flashes of that. He needs to develop his consistency, and I think that comes with minutes. So that was nice. That was a nice pickup. We can make more pickups like that. Totally work your way through the NBA. Find guys like that. Find players that are being undervalued, underutilized, and bring them on this team. I believe even Obi is a player literally like that, because he's like wasting away behind Julius Randle, and in the his misuse by Thibs on this team. Not that I don't want him taking threes. I do want him taking threes. You have to in today's NBA. But he should design some schemes for him when he's cutting. Find the cutters. We don't have that many guys on this team that find their fellow cutters on a consistent basis. And then we sign a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein, who literally does that. That's what he does. It's what he did for the Clippers. We barely utilize him in that way. In fact, we've taken one of his awesome skills, totally shelved it, and try to transform him into being a Mitch and Jericho Sims type center. Makes no sense to me. So now he's playing opposite of his strengths. Oh man, now it's 64-36. We're getting up there. We still got over 200 in the chat. If you guys haven't hit the thumbs up, please hit it up. It'd be great to get it over to get 100, at least 100 likes on this. The more likes, the more attention that these kind of videos and shows get, the more it reaches the actual Knicks. Reaches the front office, it reaches the influencers or people who are friends with them or have affiliations with them. And then the tone that we're expressing here and the attitude, it gets to them. But, they have to see how people are showing engagement in what's being said. The same goes with everybody. I haven't been able to watch anybody else. I was prepping for this show. I haven't been able to watch CP or Sim or anybody else or Macri yet. I'll watch them later. I'm curious what their feelings are. I would imagine I would imagine CP and Macri and I have kind of in agreement on this right now, that it's time to pivot away from the direction that we're not even headed in, that we're being, flung into, because it doesn't feel like a choice. It's like, it's time to make a choice and say, we're going to do this. Last year I was crying out for the youth movement, to really embrace the youth movement, and it just did not happen. And that really has hurt us today. 12 months later, we're suffering because of it. We don't really have a true identity. We don't have a direction. That's why franchises like OKC, they can get excited about the players that they have, the direction they're going in, because they have some interesting talent. Are they losing games? Yeah, they're losing games, but at least they have hope for the future. They have hope that what they are constructing can deliver something, a winning team in the very near future. Even when you look at Detroit Pistons, yeah, they're terrible, but they've got quality, young quality on that roster. That 2-3 years from now, who knows? Maybe they luck out and they get Wembanyama. And then Wembanyama with Cade and Jaden Ivey? Please. I mean, we don't have anything even close to that. Unfortunately, I hate to put it on RJ, but the one time we get an opportunity to get in the top 3, we missed out on Zion, we missed out on Ja, we got RJ, and he's just not on that tier. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I love him. I love him as a kid. I love as a person. Not as a kid. He's a young man. I love him as a person. I love his attitude, his work ethic, everything about him I love. But he doesn't have that other gear. It's just not there. And he hasn't acquired it yet. He's shown us flashes, though. Like I said, he's shown us flashes. More 30-point games than anybody under the age of 21. Things like that. He does show us flashes, but it came with some bad efficiency ultimately. I do think he can be an efficient player in the NBA because of his ability to get to the hoop. When he wants to get to the hoop, he can get there. He just has to make better decisions as he's approaching the hoop. If you watched the game last night with the Celtics and the Heat, watch Jason Tatum. He'll drive. Jason Tatum can get to the rim pretty easily, but even he doesn't force it. Often he'll get there if he's like, you know what, I don't have a clean shot, and I see my teammate on the wing there, on the 3-point line, he's open, he feeds him the ball. Or sometimes he'll literally do a little duck under and just kind of scoop it to a cutter for an easy layup. Rarely do we see RJ do that. Rarely do we, but we do see him do it something. Tonight he had 3 times, and I think all of those were in the first quarter. Let's see who else we got. Tank now 23 wins overdue for better lottery luck. Victor is ours. We do need some lottery luck. We do. And also, I'm telling you, I think, look right here. We have 64% of us feel it's time to tank. I think the fan base would generally embrace this decision. So, continuing down the river with Leon at the helm and Thibs steering the actual boat, I think they've had enough time. They've had enough time. All right, I'm going to close this poll. 65-35. Nice. Awesome. All right. Well, we still have about 200 in the chat. That's great. We got over 100 likes. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. We're going to close it down. I think tomorrow's game is going to be... I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. But I like with this team, I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow they come out and we blow the Cavs out. I wouldn't even be surprised if it happened. I also wouldn't be surprised if the reverse happened. But it almost doesn't matter anymore. Losing today's game is all we needed to know. That the direction we're going in we have to reroute ourselves. We have to pivot off of this, or else we're just going to keep having the same exact conversation back, all of us here for the next 4 months and for years, possibly. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, like we all, the cliche says, and expecting a different result is not wise, to put it mildly. Not wise. Oh, man. Wow. The New York Knicks. Man, I had some really high hopes for this team after that 2020-21 season. Got into the playoffs, 4th seed. At least we had that. It showed us how exciting it could be to have a winning team at Madison Square Garden, a winning team that we can be proud of. Unfortunately, all that's kind of drifted away. But that kind of shows you how things can change dramatically in a year. Can change very dramatically in a year. Doesn't mean you're going to become a contender in a year, but your actual results could change dramatically in a year in many different ways. The Heat won a big game last night, but they had lost to the Celtics previously. They're struggling. There's some other teams that are struggling. There's definitely teams that are struggling. Heat's struggling. Look at the Bulls. The Bulls are in worse shape than we are. And they've got tons of money locked into players, older players as well. We don't have lots of money locked into older players, so we're lucky like that. Charlotte, look at Charlotte. They were supposed to be in a team that's supposed to compete. LaMelo gets hurt, and then now they're 7-15. Detroit, they get number 1 pick Cade. They pick up Jaden Ivey, the most exciting guard that was available in the last draft. They end up with Duran, the youngest player who looks like he's got some potential to turn into something. So they're building something nice over there. And now they weren't even expected to win anyway this season. They're going to be in the chase for Victor. Orlando picks up Paolo Banchero. They have Fritz Wagner and even Suggs. I still believe will turn into something interesting. They got a nice little roster there, young players, and they're like poised to get better in the draft. But in terms of teams that should be playing better that aren't, look right there: Charlotte, Miami. Even Toronto has been struggling lately. Toronto's 4-6 in the last 10 games. They're 11-11. Look at the Sixers. They're 12-11. They should have a better record. Now there's teams that are overachieving, like Indiana, 12-10. And that's pretty much it in terms of overachieving up top there. Brooklyn Nets, with KD having his best or second best statistical career of his life right now, the year. That's what he's having. They're coming on. They're now 13-11. We're not anywhere in that stratosphere in terms of that. So we got to pivot. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this. My name is George. I am into the Knicks-Verse. Please follow me on Twitter. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel on YouTube. Be great. And share it. Share it with your friends. Share this video with any of your Knicks friends that are fans. I'd love to get their comments in the comments section later. I read almost all the comments. Even if I don't comment on them, I still read them all, and they're really helpful. And they, I can say often, they help inform me of what the mood is. And sometimes I'll overlook things. If there's anything I've overlooked or any notions that you think might be interesting for me to pursue in terms of analytics and stuff, just send them on through. I really appreciate all of that. And I appreciate you guys coming out and watching this and sharing the pain with me and the love for the team. I live in LA, but I'm a New Yorker through and through. The words can't describe it. I want us to win, man. I want us to have a sustained winner for years on this team. And during the show, we've outlined many different ways that it can be done, or actually very specific ways that it can be done. All right, I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.